you doing?
All right.
Good. Your boys are doing a little better, aren't they?
Yes, sir. Looking good. Of course, this game was
Some shit.
kind of a reunion for me.
Watch out.
Space.
Yes.
Ricky P.
That's
right.
Oh, yeah, that's
Louisville.
right. I forgot about that. You don't even see that? Oh, I thought you were younger than that.
Huh?
I thought you were younger than
Yeah,
that.
a little bit.
A little bit, okay.
But he's more of a
I got you.
than he wasn't my student experience now.
I got you. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All my people in Louisville were texting me today about
Can I ask you to move over a little bit, stretch over? Fortunately,
what?
thank you.
Good.
They didn't have to score the second half. I have no idea.
Okay, we got. That was a bad. That was a bad. That was University.
2:20 left.
Northwood. Northwood.
I did, but sometimes you have it because you call for something behind. I'm calling.
Vernon Majors or Mount Vernon?
What, you got a Mount Vernon down here?
Yeah, but then
Yeah, it ain't the same
New
place.
York joint.
No, we got 12 guys in the NBA.
That's where the boy from UConn went, right?
Ben Gordon?
Yeah.
They're retiring.
They got the same colors and everything.
Really?
That's why
I get asked all the time about that Virginia.
Yeah, it was there.
Yeah.
Yep, box scores are in there.
It's Virginia.
It is.
Yeah, it's Virginia. Yeah.
Isn't it like George Washington's home?
Yeah, down the street from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For George Washington.
And high school is down the street from.
There's a Mount Vernon High School.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
talking
are they good?
No.
This whole back and forth.
Don't go down that path. No, hell no.
Bad, huh?
Yeah.
It's not Prince George County.
No, it ain't.
Is that what was up for
Yeah,
you?
yeah. There in Montgomery County.
Might be the best county in the.
Maybe. Consistently.
Where,
Or deep or high major players.
is that where Durant?
Oh, on the It's like money earning Mount Vernon. That's what it's like.
You even know.
Oh, yeah.
Home of Heavy D
Heavy
and the
D
Boys.
Your boy Puffy Cone.
Yeah, but he didn't go to the high school.
No?
He went to a prep school. His mother has money.
Yeah, I know she is.
Yeah. He's in a lot of trouble.
Hell of a lot of trouble.
He's the white Epstein. I mean the black.
The black Epstein.
The black Epstein.
You ain't lying, man.
Yeah, I never went to Rico.
Yeah.
He didn't invite me.
I told Kadari when he came out, he's like a fine wine, keeps getting better with age, and he's 35. So it's. Aaron had a big night. Kadari was awesome. That was the best defense offense we've ever played. And I told him at halftime, I've only had one team in my life that had a big lead like that, that just went for blood, and that was here. I'm coaching 50 years, I think 38 as a head coach. Only 96 Kentucky could go out in the second half, play at 0-0 and dominate. And we knew Georgetown is a well-coached team. We knew they'd come out hard. They were trapping every play, but we kept making good defensive plays. I mean, when you play against a team that shoots for the game 24%, 23%, and then fatigues on a foul line situation of 43, you got a really good defense. So I'm proud of these guys. I think our best quality that we have is we're humble. We just keep playing hard. We don't think we're great. We aspire to be great, but we don't believe we're great. We understand that anybody could beat us, but these two guys are great leaders, terrific players, and Kadari keeps getting better and better. Now all of a sudden, he thinks he's Steph Curry Jr., but he made it. We'll keep working at it. But he's just a remarkable player. There's so many things he does that you all don't see. And here's what I love about him. Absolutely love. He knows when he makes a mistake. And he immediately puts his thumb up when I get on him. And he knows it right away. Always owns up to every mistake. And that's a great quality because you can really teach someone how to run an offense, defense when he owns up to every mistake. So I'm proud of these two guys. It was a wonderful win for us in every fundamental area.
Take questions for the players first.
Oh, Richmond, you've been coached by two taskmaster guys. Growing up in Brooklyn, were your younger coaches, were your youth coaches similar? Did they stay on you hard?
Yeah. At South Shore, Sean Mark took care of me, demanded a lot out of me. And then when I went to Brewster, Jason Smith made sure that I was consistent every day. So I'm thankful for those two guys.
Hope you're not talking about me. No, because I'm not a test mask. I'm the easiest guy to play for in the world.
So, Aaron, we've heard a lot of times that, like, Coach Pitino can go pretty hard at you guys at halftime and that he's a yeller or whatever. But after this first half, was it a different sort of feeling in the locker room?
Honestly, we just knew Georgetown was going to come out hard. We knew the other coach was, on them constantly at halftime. We was prepared for the first 4 minutes, and that's what he was telling us. We knew they was going to come out with a run. We knew they was going to trap. And he was preparing us for it. Go ahead. Here's. I get this mic back here, guys.
I got one for each guy. Kadari, with Davon out, has that kind of opened you up to be more aggressive and looked for your shot a little bit more? You've been scoring a lot more kind of the last 5-6 games with him out.
I wouldn't say him being out led to that. Just knowing that I'm a better player than the way I started the season and just working at it every day. So I'd say that's what it really is.
How does it feel for you to kind of start seeing the results? And obviously the team's playing great, but for you personally to see the results come?
Nothing I do is not possible without them, so I'm thankful for the guys in the locker room and the confidence that they give me day in and day out.
And then for either you or for Aaron, this is the first perfect January for St. John since 1984-85, which was the last time this program made the Final Four. What does that mean to you guys to be part of such a great month for this school?
It means a lot for us, but we're just taking one game at a time. We're not looking too far in the future. We're just going to prepare for Providence. Just get ready for that game.
Kadari, you've been on a lot of great defensive teams in your career. Has anything surprised you with the way this team can play team defense and how you came together so quickly to play such great defense?
I'll say how quickly we formed it. It's a lot of new guys and stuff like that, but we preach it every day in practice since the summer. So I like the results.
And Aaron, for you, the way you guys came out offensively in the first half, they threw a lot of different, zones and defenses at you guys, and you guys were able to execute no matter what they threw at you. What does that say to the preparation that you guys had coming into this game?
Our coaches watched a lot of film on the other team, and, we came out a little slow last time we played Georgetown, and we knew we was going to have to pick up the energy for the first 4 minutes. That's what we did, and we continued that throughout the first half. Last one for the players right here.
Obviously, your players weren't alive for those 80 runs and all that. How do you sort of balance the history of how much you want to teach them or not teach them and just kind of let them be themselves?
I didn't get the first part of it.
These players haven't.
For the players.
Last one for the players.
One for players. There we go.
Yeah, Dory. I thought in the second half, it was tough, and you did come out and play great in the first half, but the second half was tough, and I thought that your layup and then your block right after the layup was key. Can you talk about that play and how that helped turn around the second half?
I had a few turnovers, So after I got the layup, I sprint back and got a block to erase the turnovers I had in my mind. So it was a good feeling.
Just like a coach.
We're gonna let the players go on out and then go ahead back to your question.
Thank
Coach.
Appreciate y'all.
Weren't alive for a lot of those classes. I'm wondering how much.
Weren't alive. I didn't.
They weren't alive during those '80s runs that this program went through, and I wonder how much do you try to teach them about that versus kind of letting them write their own story.
Really, I coached against Lou in the '80s. I really don't talk about the '80s. I always toast Lou after every game, and say the same thing to everybody. Lou would be proud of this team, but I don't bring it up too much. I don't bring it up for the most wins in January. I never bring any of that up. That's your job. We really just do focus on getting better. This team is getting better and better. That defense we played. Do you know how many times, first, second half, that the clock was winding down and they had to take a desperation shot? So that was great switching. That was great covering the gaps. So we're getting better and better, and all we want to do is be the best. Like I said earlier, humility is what we're all after. I think at 50 years of coaching, the one thing I've learned, the most important word, is humility, being humble. That allows you to keep getting better. That allows you not to embrace success. That allows you to stay grounded and know who you are. We know Georgetown can beat us. We know Providence can beat us. We know everybody can beat us. But we're getting better and better and better. And that's all we care about. Humility is a major factor.
Rick, you've said a lot of this year, anyone could beat you guys. It's now 7 in a row, 13 of 14, and the last 5 really without Davon, who might be your most valuable player. So what, if anyone could beat you guys, what has kind of happened here in this last month to 6 weeks where nobody is beating you?
So I'll give you an example of what I mean by humility. So Sim, I got on him 3 times because he had a wide open shot, and he wasn't making them, but I want him to keep shooting. What I said to him, I said, Sim, if you go 0 for 4, and then you make your next 4, or let's say you make the next 4 out of 6, so then you're 4 for 10, and you're shooting 40%. Don't stop shooting. But last year, he would have been banging his head, carrying on. Instead, he showed great maturity, played awesome defense, kept getting deflections, and he's really come on. I mean, you look at the way he played, you wouldn't think that, but his defense was outstanding. So it goes back to being humble. So if you keep winning, and you think you're good, you're gonna get your ass beat. But if you keep saying next opponent, next possession, next play, humility comes in, and it's a powerful weapon, humility. And we got great humility right now. That's why we're playing great.
How much better can this team get with Davon, who we could see Saturday, I guess?
Well, look, Jaden has to really work on his left hand. He's not really a point guard, but he's playing it, which is nice. So it just gives us another big-time weapon. He's our best defensive rebounder. But we're playing brilliant without him. And I think most people would have rushed him back. We want him 100%. He's ready to play. He just psychologically is afraid to get hit. He's physically ready to play. So we've erred on the side of caution. I told the trainer, I don't want him 90%. I want him playing at 100% where he doesn't look at his shoulder and afraid to get over a screen.
I guess first to follow up on that with Davon. So, I mean, is there something you can simulate in practice these
No, he
days?
practiced the other day.
So, do you tell people to bump into him just to try to get
No.
his mind right? No.
No.
Just, okay.
That's one thing I don't do.
Okay. And I guess the way Georgetown was able to slow you guys down defensively in the second half, was that more maybe you guys not executing the way you wanted to,
Well,
or was
we
it
couldn't
on them?
execute because they just kept trapping. They played a 1-3-1 zone, and they kept trapping out of it. So you can't run an offense against that. You have to go into gaps, look in, cut back door, look opposite, and it's passing skills at that point. But I told them, I said, okay, they had their run. If you don't think a Georgetown team in their building, down 26, 27, whatever they were, is going to have a little bit of a run, you're mistaken. Because they're a very well-coached team, and they know how to play. They got very good talent, just got young talent. So we came back, we got it together, and we went the other way. So that's a sign of a good team.
Hey, Coach, you forced their starting backcourt into 8 turnovers. They're smallish. You have size. You have length. How much did that play in giving them trouble, especially when they try to go middle screen and roll or zoom action out of it? They didn't get any.
I think we're long. We played gaps well. You know, Syracuse used to be with Warwick, used to be a great 2-3 zone because of their length. We're a great man team because of our length. Aaron's got length. RJ's got length. Kadari's got length. Even though Davon is 6 foot, he's a leading defensive rebounder. So it's a really good basketball team getting better. I'm happiest, not only for the players, because they're the reason this is happening, but I'm happy for the St. John's fans. Been a long time for them. And I see them so positive as I walk around the streets of New York. I see them so happy. They come on the road. We're going to have 18,000 people for Providence. So I'm happy for them because it's an identity they want to see. There's no reason that St. John's can't be a great basketball team. No reason why Georgetown can't be a great basketball team. And they will be. I can tell you right now. I know Ed Cooley like he's my younger brother. He's going to get it going. They're going to be a great basketball team down the road. He's doing it with young players. I'm doing it with older players.
Last from Roger. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, did you go after them at halftime or not?
I don't know where you get this yelling business.
I get it.
Because to be honest with you, I hardly ever yell. Mask gets on them big time. I'm in the room looking at film, looking at the stats. I only talk for 2 minutes, so your information's wrong. I'm just a teddy bear at halftime. Now, so I went in at halftime and just told them a story about Kentucky. I said the only time I've had a lead like this, the 96 team would put them away and smell blood. Because the other team is so well coached, they're so pissed off right now, they're going to come back. And if you let them come back, it'll be a long night for you. So don't play not to lose, play to win. And here I'm coaching, almost 40 years as a head coach, and I only have one team able to beat the team at halftime. I've had a few that would be up 20 and they won by 2 or 4 points. It's tough to play with a lead, especially when teams are trapping constantly. They're showering. It's okay.
So is this the best defensive effort that you guys have turned in?
Best combination in the first half of defense, offense. The offense was just as brilliant as defense, and we're getting better and better. I think that they feel it themselves because they know it's coming, getting ready for February, and they feel it. But they're like I said, they'll play prepare for Providence like they lost this game, and that's what humility does. We preach humility every single day in our meetings.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
I'm sure they're available through Georgetown.
Let Coach Cooley open the statement.
I don't know if I have a statement or a concern. First, I got to give St. John's a ton of credit. Their defense was elite. Their defense was bothersome. I thought they were really connected. I thought they were really, really good a couple of weeks ago, or whether 10 or 15 days when we played them. As I talked about, for them not to be ranked in that particular time. They just had a lot of answers defensively. And again, talking to my team, which was really disappointing, you can't let a ranked team, get a 28, 29-point lead in 20 minutes. I thought we were sleepwalking. I didn't feel the energy before the game. We looked tired. We looked lackluster. We didn't look coached. We looked disconnected. It just was, we looked like the bad news Hoyas out there, not even the bad news Bears. That actually is an embarrassment to the Bears, right? You're playing at home. You're coming off a really disappointing loss on the road. But what I can say is we're at a point here where you got to continue to inspire your guys, lift them up, right? It's not the end of the world. So for us, it's a breaking point as far as, how much do we want to compete. I thought they were more physical from 1 through 5 on every possession. We made a slight. They capitalized on our turnovers in the second half. I think that's how they scored many of their points in the second half was off of our turnovers and our lack of execution. You can give them a lot of credit. That was a defensive clinic that they just put on and put a foot right in our ass, a complete foot in our ass. And, we got to bounce back as we got another game here on Wednesday. And before I take any questions, I think it's important to know back-to-back games, and I haven't had this since I've coached in the Big East, where the team that we played had a bye. And I don't know if it's a metric system in the league. Providence has 8 days off. We played 2 games. St. John's has a week off. So you can see the energy and how healthy they were and how lackluster we looked. And I'm not saying that's why we lost at all. And I absolutely love the Big East. But that's a big-time disadvantage when somebody can prepare for you, especially with the level of coaching in this league. It's really, really hard to overcome that when we're trying to rebuild this program. Again, that is not any excuse of getting our ass kicked today. But I'll be damned if they weren't more fresh and more excited than we were, and that happened in the last game as well. So we'll put on our big boy pants, we'll roll up our sleeves, and get ready for a really hard game come Friday night. Hopefully we can have a great crowd to get behind our guys because right now we need you.
All right, let's start with questions. Gene Long from the Post.
Eddie, you mentioned St. John's defensively.
Big time.
In the early few minutes, what particularly were they doing to kind of get you on your heels?
I think they were physical. I think they were energetic. They're very disruptive. They're very, very disruptive. They switched 5 ways, right? They were first to the ball. They were hitting first, right? They were the aggressor. And I thought their aggression, their length came into play. They were in heavy, heavy gap help. They contested everything at the rim. I was really, really impressed with their defense. Very impressed with their defense.
Ed,
What's up, Pat?
Hey, do you think the amount of motion that was spent on Saturday took a bit too much out of you coming into this one?
I didn't think about that. I think it's a fair question. I don't know. I don't know. We definitely didn't have the pop, especially the first 20 minutes. And the second 20 minutes, you're playing for pride, right? You're playing at home. You're coming off a tough loss. It could be. I really didn't think about that. Well, I'm telling you what I thought about was 2 teams back-to-back coming off a bye. And we got to do something about that. We have to do something about that because it is a competitive disadvantage. I don't give a damn if you're playing, the CYO team from, around the corner. It's just the league has to do a way better job with that.
We go to Ron Bailey, but if anyone on that side needs the mic, please make sure to raise your hand and we'll get it over to you.
Recently, last couple of games, you haven't been getting the offensive punch from the other guys, like the Williamses, maybe the Burks. What do you attribute that to? Are they hitting the wall? Are they now being scouted against? What would you attribute that to?
We're playing a great league. Coaching is superior. It could be all. It could be all. It could be a lot of different things. 41 points in a high major game. We scored 60-something points in our last game. I don't know if we got to 70 since December in the Big East game. So, we got to look at our offense, our shot selection. We had 6 assists today. 6. I think that's the lowest we've had all year. So the ball's not moving. That's on us, the coaches. We got to address that. So it could be. I don't have the exact answer, Ron. I don't. But, we'll try to figure it out. Appreciate it.
We're going to hit Dave Preston and go to Jeremy Huber.
Ed, this isn't your first rodeo, and this isn't the
At all.
first rough patch that
Yep.
you've had
Yep.
with any of your teams. How have you gotten teams out of stretches like this in the past?
Whenever you're in a stretch like this and you're a coach or you're a leader, the last thing you got to do is blame, point fingers. You can point out the things you've done well to get you to a point of having an opportunity to succeed, right? So many coaches and so many, you have a bad game like this, you play at home, it's an embarrassing loss with respect to because you feel like you got manhandled. You got to go back to the basics, okay? Clean it up with film, inspire your guys, let them know it's not the end of the world. You're very disappointed, right? I love when somebody feels disappointed because they let you down, right? And I think if you inspire them as the leader and you continue to infuse energy into them and let them know it's okay to have a mistake, but how do we correct that? Right now is not the time to drop the hammer on their head and, with this, with that. No, it's a game. Didn't play well. Credit what I thought was the best defensive performance I've seen that I've coached against in probably 10 years. That defense was elite today that we played against.
What gives you confidence that this is a bend in the road to the season as opposed to the end of the road?
Well, no, it's not the end of it. We got 10 more games, right? It's just like when people, if you've been married a long time and your spouse or your partner makes a shitty meal, right? It's just a bad meal. It's not that you're not going to have a good meal down the line, right? Today, we had a really, really shitty meal. And, and it'll get better, right? Put a couple of spices and something else. What you can't do, though, honestly, you can't beat your men up. That's the worst thing you can do right now.
And is it weird that you guys have come out in those really tough environments like West Virginia, like the Garden, and Marquette, play these teams toe-to-toe? Here at home is where you've had those really rough first halves against Notre Dame, tonight against UConn?
Oh, man, I just look at most games as 94 feet of opportunity. I'm pretty sure there's been a lot of teams around the country that just haven't played well in a stretch, right? Like if we can bottle up the second half first 14 minutes of the game of the second half, that's kind of our team, right? And again, you were down by so much. You needed everything to be perfect. I think it was a 14-point lead. We had a layup, a 2-on-1 with PV and Sorber, and we got nothing. They come down here and hit a 3, game, set, match. You get it to 12. They had a really tough time in the second half figuring out our zone. Really tough time, right? I mean, it was, just throwing up some stuff at the rim and hope it went in. And where was our energy for that in the first half? But I don't have an answer to that. I don't. I look at every game, no matter where you play, there's 94 feet of opportunity, and they took advantage of theirs today.
Ed, a question about St. John's. You've been very complimentary of them going back to a couple weeks ago in the Garden, and now you've played them twice, and they haven't had their point guard in Smith. Kind of what do you think St. John's could be when he gets back on the floor?
I coached Georgetown, man. Last time, they're doing really well without him. I don't know. I haven't played against them with him. It's another athlete on the floor, another tenacious defender. That's more of a question for Coach Pitino. I can only go off of how they've played with us, and they've played great without him. That's kind of how I can answer that.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.